is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Avi and
Joe Parker. Hi, everybody.
Thanks so much for coming to check us out. And if you're new here, welcome back, or if not welcome back, but welcome for the first time. We make a lot of really cool real estate content, Santa Barbara content. Oops.
Boom.
Munched a curb, but that's how we do. We're cruising around. We're going to be checking out some new properties, but we're going to be talking about the state of the market. We are in early June. What is today? June...
What are you, 11th?
11th.
10th? 12th?
Maybe June 12th. I don't know. It's early June.
12th.
It's June 12th, 2025, and we were looking at some of the stats, and the market's dynamic. It's really changing month over month. It's a tale of two markets we kind of see. Some people are selling over market price, and a lot of people who want to sell over market price are languishing, maybe having to do a price reduction, kind of getting a reality check. So I just wanted to touch base with you, Joe, and see kind of what you're seeing out there in the marketplace and what you're seeing has shifted now that we're moving into summer.
Yeah, the biggest pressure on this market, obviously, is the interest rates. The affordability coupled with interest rates are the biggest challenge. And then equally on a lot of people's minds is the insurance issues. And especially we're seeing this big disconnect of what the market experience is like if you're in the foothills of Santa Barbara versus if you're down or by the Mesa or closer to the beach. When that insurance variable isn't in the equation, it's a much different market experience for those sellers. So there's definitely some big headwinds in the market right now, both regionally here, locally, and nationally. And so Santa Barbara tends to be like the last domino to fall when the market's changed. I know the market's changed really drastically in some of their cities around the country. There's been big downturns in pricing. We haven't seen it that much, but it is starting to creep into our market a little bit now. And so I think, we're starting to feel this downturn, and it's probably not going to be as painful as it has been in the past on other downturns. It seems like we're more insulated, but we're not going to escape it entirely, I think.
For sure. And certain property types, like those ultra high ends that are high risk, I feel like are definitely, certain properties are feeling it more than others. There's certain buyers that I feel like maybe, if they're not in a position where they need to buy the second home or the ultra luxury pad, they're kind of tapping out. And one thing that was really interesting, I think whenever you're looking at real estate prices, it's so good to get back to the basics, which is really supply and demand, which is the ultimate indicator of what things are worth and what they sell for. And back in 2022, when things were so white hot, some of our listings got 30 something offers.
Yeah.
And a lot of our listings at least were getting 10. The average month's supply was under 1, which means that if no new homes came on the market, all the current inventory would be snapped up in less than 1 month. And right now we're north of 3 months of inventory. It's 3 and some change. So we're seeing there's a lot more supply, and that's obviously going to dictate prices, because when there's more supply and the demand's still obviously high, there's more to choose from. And, people are going to have to be really realistic about what they price their home for.
Yeah, that's for sure. The market now is kind of at a balanced level. That 3 to 4 month supply is kind of considered a balanced level. Once we start getting over 4 months, it's considered a seller's market or a buyer's market. Once we get below that 3, it's kind of, you're in the seller's market where the sellers are dictating what's going on. They could kind of run the show and expect a lot of competition. So it's this classic scenario where you've got, in the past, when this market was really on fire, we had maybe 5 buyers for every 2 homes on the market. And so that was artificially inflating the values of the homes because of that extra froth. And now we've got 2 buyers for every 5 homes on the market. And so you can see where these sellers are going to have to compete with each other. There's less of that froth in there. And what I think we're seeing happening right now, I've noticed a few homes that sold in 2022 that are on the market now, selling for the same price or maybe even less than they sold for before. So what we had was this injection of artificial value, that emotion that was in the market during the hype of the COVID market, injected artificial value in the market. And as soon as that hype went away, so did that artificial value. But a lot of the sellers still see it and feel it and want it. And so they're trying to get it. They're trying to capture that back because they saw it on their balance sheets, so to speak, by looking at Zillow and all these things, looking at their estimates, feeling like their value was much higher than it was, because really quickly, that extra value that got injected in the market because of the emotional hype that was surrounding the market during the COVID times kind of is disappearing.
For sure. I mean, it must be difficult to, I saw that one house is just reduced to like 2.4 and they bought it in 2022 for I think 2.6 and change. So to not only be taking a $200,000 plus loss off the top, you're paying commissions, closing costs, additional, fees and prorated property taxes. That must be a tough pill to swallow. And I would just say that, real estate is a long game, and obviously emergencies can happen, family situations can happen. But let's say if you're if you're sure, like you might be in Santa Barbara, but you're not sure that you might be here for a year or 2 or 3, if you're not going to be here long term, I would say definitely consider that, renting might be a good option if you're not 100% sure where you're going to end up. Because I'm luckily where I haven't had any clients personally, have to sell quickly and take a loss, but I'm seeing it in the marketplace, and I feel bad for those people, because that's obviously everybody always thinks, okay, if you're going to buy a house, someday you're going to sell it for more. That's kind of like the standard thought. I love what you said there, because I think that real estate's one of those interesting, I don't know if a profession or just it's an interesting business space where everybody will lend their advice. Usually when it comes to, let's say, stock advice or crypto advice or even advice for your health, you're going to only heed the advice of a professional. And if your neighbor told you, that you might not take their advice so seriously, or you might, understand that you need to look to the help of a professional. But when it comes to real estate, it seems oftentimes like we'll encounter people that because they've lived in their home so long, they think they know exactly what the price is with, or their neighbor told them, hey, I think you could, get $2 million for your house, even though the comps are saying it's worth $1.5 million. And I think it's just a good thing to remind yourself that, just like any other profession, it's always important to take the account of someone that's in the marketplace every day dealing with transactions. And I think we really try to bring a high level of expertise and a consultation approach, not just a sales approach, to our people that we're helping out.
Yeah, and the loudest stories in the local real estate market are those huge success stories, those ones that they got 8 offers and, it went for $500,000 over asking, which does happen even in today's market. But those are the ones that get broadcast, everyone hears about, but you never hear about the person who spent 6 months on the market after 35 showings and 4 price reductions, finally sold for $600,000 less than what they initially listed for, right? So those stories just don't circulate. So just beware of that information going around, because you might be missing out on the real info that's going to impact your situation. And just being focused on those huge success stories could give you a false sense of perception of where the market is.
For sure. It's just like there's so much buzz, so much news. I think the news articles, they love to talk about market crashes. They love to just circulate the ultra luxe sales. I think there's just a lot of buzz when it comes to real estate. And that's why we love connecting with you guys from YouTube. We love having you reach out, because if you want someone who's local in the area, who actually knows what's going on in Santa Barbara, who has options that are off market, or even can just give you an in-depth report of the value of your home without just having to rely on some random algorithm that has no idea of the upgrades that you've done, of the inside and outs of your house, of the potential insurance risk or anything like that. We loved connecting because we can give you a higher level of insight than a lot of the random articles.
Yeah, so use this video that you landed on as an invitation to reach out if you have any questions or just want to talk more about your strategy. It could be a 2-year, a 3-year, a 1-year, a 6-month. It doesn't matter. It's always a good time to start building that relationship with local professionals like us.
Another thing that we've been experiencing with some of our seller clients is, you're not always sure where things are going to land. Even if your property is prepped well, you feel like it's priced well, you always have to take into account the feedback of the marketplace, because no random Guru, Zillow, Redfin, none of those digital estimates are actually what's going to tell you what your home's going to sell for. It's going to be the market. And so even if you've lined up private showings, even if you've had good feedback, even if you've had busy open houses, by the times you've experienced 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the market, if you don't have any offers or any offers that are compelling, that's the marketplace telling you, hey, it's time to probably adjust. And the longer you wait to adjust, honestly, the longer that you're going to wait to attract the right buyer. Because if you can kind of dictate the market by adjusting the price before you're languishing, before your home is something that everybody has maybe seen online and they're going to skip through, you could still potentially attract that, good price. For example, we had a listing, we did a price reduction, and we basically got a full price offer at our new list price because we did it within reasonable time. And I think that there's other properties that I've seen that they only reduce after like 2 or 3 months, and by that time it could be too late.
Yeah, the market feedback once you're active is your best source for information about what's going on. Oftentimes you get distracted by a neighbor, a friend, someone who hears that you have your home on the market and they're giving their advice, and that's landing harder in their minds than the actual feedback of the actual market, of people that are in the market either selling homes or they're actually buying homes. And so don't get distracted by the advice, the 2 cents that you're going to get from friends and family who are not professionals in the real estate market where your home's on the market. Listen to the feedback from the marketplace. Listen to the professionals you've surrounded yourself with. That's where the real information you're going to attain is going to come from. That's going to help you.
So we just previewed a stunning, completely renovated from the ground up, 5-bed, 6-bath. It has a guest house. And we were seeing, hey, what's the pulse on this house? Because I think a lot of people are going to maybe ask, okay, some houses are sitting for a long time, and I think it was the stat was 20% of houses in May sold above their list price, which probably meant that they got multiple offers. How do you know if one's going to get the other? And we were talking to the agent here, and in the first day, they had 6 private showings lined up, which probably lets us know that it might move quick.
Yeah, for sure. This local developer who's known kind of in the community for doing really nice homes does do good work, and so I think that reputation kind of follows them, and so when the local real estate professionals see one of their projects hit the market and they've got buyers that want turnkey homes that they could just move right into, has all the latest features, amenities, all the latest technology, they pump the sound into all the rooms, the toilets are the Bluetooth toilets, smart toilets, whatever that is, and just the accordion doors that give you that convertible indoor-outdoor living. So they're just known for really going over the top, and I'm not surprised that whenever they have something new come on that they get hit up right away. I think that has a really good shot of selling. That's the kind of product in this market where people are experiencing languishing times on the market, price reductions, having to, negotiate and renegotiate once they're in escrow. That experience is probably not going to be experienced by this seller. This seller is probably going to get a little bit of that. My guess would be maybe not as frothy as the COVID market, but a little bit of that COVID market where 2-3 buyers end up raising their hand and saying, yeah, we like what you did here, we'll buy it.
And having to compete and take down, one buyer will take it down, and the bidding war oftentimes can raise the price even more. So, yeah, great point. I think also it's a good reminder that because inventory is up, if you want to have an experience like those sellers that's going to have a lot of action, quick demand, I think you have to do the right things to prep your home for the market. I mean, maybe it's not as beautiful and turnkey as that one, but doing some painting, some staging, deep cleaning, really making sure that your product stands out versus the other stuff. Because yeah, in 2020, when there was less than 1 month of inventory, you really could throw it on the market and you would be getting action no matter what.
Yeah.
But that's just not the case anymore. And I think we really have done a good job with a couple of our recent projects, prepping them well to receive quick action and even, sell quicker than the average days on market.
Yeah, the Santa Barbara market being as expensive as it is, when we're in these normal times in a balanced market, I notice that properties that have some kind of inherent negative, maybe they're on a busy street near the freeway, a lot that doesn't take advantage of its square footage and it's not very usable, whatever it may be, some kind of flaw that you're just not going to be able to get rid of, it needs to be discounted based on the data points of other properties without those flaws. And that's the biggest hurdle, I think, for a lot of owners. They don't see that negative in their home anymore because they've gotten used to it. But we're back to a point to where that matters again, and you've got to account for that when you're strategizing the pricing of your home. During the COVID market, you could put anything on the market, like Avi was saying. It could even be sandwiched between the freeway and the train tracks, and it's still going to get hammered. But now we're getting back to, all right, if I'm going to pay Santa Barbara premium real estate pricing, but my home's going to be next to a busy street, I want a little bit of discount, or I'm just going to be patient and wait for one that comes on that doesn't have that. And so you got to be sharp with the pencil and discount accordingly if you want it to move.
So thank you so much, as always, for watching our videos, guys. And make sure to check out Joe's channel. Every week he's putting out new videos, drive along. I'm in a lot of them, as well as our go-to local lender, Brahmi Croc, with rate.com. And we do amazing home tours on that channel. And Joe is taking around, full insight inside the property, showing you the ins and outs of oftentimes luxury properties, all of the different areas in Santa Barbara and Montecito. So make sure to check him out on my channel if you want to check out best thing to do in Santa Barbara, the best places to eat. I have a lot of content there. If your question is specific and you want it answered, we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out in the comments or contact us directly. And until next time,
peace, everyone. Thanks.
See ya.